So you have any questions so far with the sessions? Or we can go ahead with the environmental setup today.
For me, no questions.
How about you, Kriba?
No questions from my side as well.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So then let's install. So have you downloaded that JDK file in your laptops?
I think I already have it. 1 minute, I will check it.
Okay, fine.
I have it.
So you also have it, Chaitanya?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let
So
me
anyway,
check.
I'll just tell the steps to configure it. So once you download your JDK, you need to set your environment. For that, we create something called as path in our environmental variables of our system. And we also have something called as class path. And this is not a configuration related name, but this you will be using it often when you are starting with the coding practices. So where do we define this path? So if you go to your so if you go to your environmental variables, there are two sections. Yeah, sure. So when you go to your environmental variables, there will be like two categories, user variables and your system variables. So you have to create something called as Java underscore home and JRE underscore home and a path. So these are the three mandatory parameters when you're configuring for the first time in your server or in your operating system for the first time. So what is this Java home? Why do we need to create it? If you're having multiple versions of JDK and there might be a conflict by the system, like which version should it go and execute it? If there's any compatible issues, then we might face a conflict in executing our source code or program which you write it. So it's always better to create one variable as Java home and always mention which particular JDK you're going to point to it. And then the JRE is something which is again relevant to your specific JDK version. And sometimes the operating system which you're working on might not be supporting the other later versions of JDK 11 code or JDK 14 code if you're having JRE 1.8. So it's always better to define that. And if you're suppose you are in a place where you need to run or execute Java 14 program, in that case, you can just update your environmental variable to the relevant version and you can just execute that program. So it's always important to have these two variables. And we also have something in our class called bin. So what does this bin have? This is the actual development tools you have, your Java C and Java. So this is something you need to mention it in your path. So if I edit it, you can see my Java home is something nothing but my Java home is still JDK path. And I'm just extending my path variable till bin. So I am in need of to use that library. So I need to mention this particular one. So you can either copy your path variable like this, or you can just copy the entire URL, like entire path as this as well. But the best practice is if you create your Java home variable, you can just address this like in the path as this. So this should be fine. So this would be your first step. And the second step, once you're done with this, you need to go to your command prompt and you have to check your Java version. To check your Java version, you need to give a command Java hyphen version. So it tells you which particular version is currently installed in your system. So you can look at, you see right now I have JDK 8 and 11. So right now I'm pointing to 11 relevant version. So if you check in your systems, you should be able to see the version which you have installed. So once this particular setup is done, you should be able to start with writing the program. So can you please just check in your command prompt whether you have your version executing
Yeah,
properly?
I have 1.8.
Okay, and Kirba?
So, do you know how to set up the environment variable for Mac OS?
So you're using Mac?
Yeah, I'm using Mac.
Okay, fine. Yeah, just let
I
me.
just checked the Java version. It's showing 9.0.1. So I think that's also fine, right?
9.0.1 should be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
When I didn't install it, was I think default installed in Mac, I feel.
Yeah.
Can you just check whether you have the JDK or you have the JRE benefit?
I don't know which path it will be, but I'll check.
I will also check.
Okay, so both are using Mac laptops.
Yeah.
Okay. So you both are using Bash shell or other one?
It is under a live, sorry.
No, which shell are you using in your Mac OS? Is it Bash or JSH?
Let me
I
check.
think it's like Bash only, terminal.
Okay.
And it is under library Java folder, Kripa, in Mac OS /
Okay, I was
library
also searching
/
for it.
Java.
Yeah, thank you. I will find it.
Okay. So now you're able to see the version, right?
Yeah, it is a JDK 8.0. I can see the folder.
Okay.
And also,
And you're able to see the bin and libraries, JRE path and everything within that.
I don't think
Maybe I
so.
can stop share and any one of you can share your screen.
Okay, I will do it.
Janaki,
See if I
yours is
can
a
share.
Windows laptop, right? And have you downloaded the JDK in your system?
Yes, Neha, I have downloaded the exe file, but I haven't done that installation. I just downloaded the
Yeah, okay,
exe
you can
file.
start now doing that. If you have any issues, you can let
Okay.
me know.
I can copy the exe under the program file Java, right? Because
No, no,
I've
no.
created
If
the
you
Java folder
no, no,
under
no, no need to
program
copy
file.
that in program files. If you start double click on that exe file, it will open you a dialog box, and within that it will ask you few parameters, and in that it will ask for the home where you want to
Location.
install. There you
Okay,
select
okay.
C program file and Java.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
It is showing
We'll
host
do that.
disabled participant screen sharing. Can you enable
Yeah, let's do it.
screen sharing?
Yeah, I think you should be able to share now. Can you try?
1 minute. Open system preferences.
Hi Yoga, have you downloaded your Java in your system?
Not yet. I will download it right now. Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yes, Yoga. Please download. So once everyone is good with the installation, we can start doing a small practice.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. In this folder, I can see the JDK.
Mm-hmm.
Inside JDK, there is something called contents. It is like this. Let me go to home folder.
Yeah, this is the place. So can you go to the bin?
Okay.
So are you able to see Java C here? Yeah. So this is the path. So can you share the path to Kirba as well? Like where did you see?
Yeah, I also
You
found
are
it.
also able to
Fine.
get to that place, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
for both of
So
you,
it's
you
JDK
have
9.
it installed. Yeah.
Yeah, already installed.
Yeah. Anything
Hello,
above
Sneha.
8 should be fine. Yeah. Hi, Jivan.
Yeah, this is Jivan. Yeah. Sneha, I'm at work. Can you send me the link for saved video? I will watch it later.
Yeah, sure. I'll share it to you by end of the.
I changed my shift timing.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can share you the link.
Yeah,
If you can
okay.
possible, you can just listen to the session if it's fine for you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm at work, but yeah, I wear headsets,
Okay. Yeah.
so no problem. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So Yoga and Janaki, once you're done, let me know.
Sneha, I'll be dropping off this call and connected with my through my PC. Okay, I have joined through my mobile.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. My internet connection is like so poor.
Okay. So meanwhile, like who have already done with their installation, so they can go ahead with, you can just create a directory wherever you wanted to have a note of all the sessions. And I suggest you to start with a structure similar to this so that you, when you're trying to have a record of all your Java notes, you can actually push those sessions with the relevant names into your GitHub so that you will have a portfolio created. And the GitHub creation, I'll let you know in another 1 or 2 sessions, but right now we can have it in our local. So just create a session based on date basis or the concept basis, however you want. Please maintain a directory structure in your local system. And
You're sharing the directory structure, or we
yeah,
can
I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
I'm sharing my screen. So just have something for Java sessions or whatever name you are good with. Have the folder created over there with core Java. And within core Java, you can create folders based on date basis. So this is just a intro file. So once you get into the concepts, you'll be writing few more programs. So you might use the same relevant class names again and again. So it's better to maintain a folder on the concepts basis. So today we are just understanding the Java sample program. So I'm just giving the sample program. And here I'm creating first new. Okay. So always when you're creating a new class, so let me say, I'm right now creating a new. So this is just a welcome file. So I'm just going with welcome Java. And your extension should be .java. And save it. So just do this one right now.
Okay.
Janaki, are we good with the installation? You're having any issues?
Oh, yes, Sneha, it is installing actually. By default, it is showing that location, that program file. So I
Yeah,
just
by
given
default
next,
for Windows,
next
it would
and
be C program files. And for the Mac and Linux, it will be under the user.
okay, yeah, it's almost done. Like I'm good in that.
Yeah, suppose that you need to set up your environmental variables.
Okay.
And for the Mac users, like how do you guys check the path? Like to check whether it's been actually mapped the new path variable, like as we have in Windows. Like how do you guys do that?
I normally do it in that shell itself.
So can you
In
just
some
cross check
file.
whether in your path do you have your Java session map till bin?
Okay, let me check.
So right now you should be having only Notepad. This should be sufficient. 1 or 2 sessions later, we can start using the editors. Right now, it's better to go with Notepad. I'll suggest you the editors after 1, 2 or 3 classes. So once we are good with this setup and the creation of Java file, you let me know so we can do the programming together.
Sneha, my installation is completed. So shall I go ahead and do that environment?
Yeah, you can actually share your screen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, path is under until folder.
Can you able to see my
Yeah,
screen?
I'm able to see it. Can you open the Java? So you have JDK
Yeah.
1.8, yes. Can you go there?
Yeah.
Can you open the bin? No, just open it. Just get into the JDK path. Yeah.
Okay.
Go into the bin. So you should be able to see Java, C, Java, right? Now these are the main
Yeah, yes.
libraries we are dependent right now to execute a piece of code. Okay, so you
Oh,
have this. Now can you open your environmental variables?
It's under properties, right? Like
No,
we'll
no,
go
you just search in your start menu with
Windows.
control panel or just environmental variables. You should be able to
Oh.
guide it to that particular place. Yeah, can you open that? Yeah, can you go to the down, in the down right corner, you have environmental variables. Yes, can you open that? So now there are 2 sections, user and system variables, right? You need to go into the
yes.
system variables. So in
System
system
variables.
variables, first you have to create a new, can you just click on new there? Not here. Yeah,
Here
below,
itself,
yeah,
right?
in the system variable section, not there. Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Now create a variable name Java underscore home in caps.
Okay, 1 minute, Sneha.
Okay.
Yeah, like variable name I can,
Yeah, you
I
should
need to
just-
browse it or?
No, you just type it Java underscore home in caps.
Okay.
Yeah, and in variable value, you have to paste your path. So can you open your folder?
Yeah.
Till JDK, till JDK. Click on JDK as well. Yeah,
Okay.
till this part. Can you copy?
1 minute.
Yeah, and then paste it in the value of the variable and give OK. Yes. Now create one more variable as JRE underscore home in the same section.
In the same system variable.
Yeah, you have to create JRE underscore home. This is to run underscore home to run your Java programs of anything which you need to expand your version level. And for that, you again have a separate JRE version configured in your system, right? Under Java, you had a JRE. Yeah, take that reference. Yeah, copy that path and paste it over there. Now the 2 sections are done. Now go to the path variable which you already have in that section. If you scroll a little down, you'll be able to see the path.
Yeah, which I've added recently.
Not, yeah,
right?
you have added it. So now you can see one more thing as path variable, right? Can you scroll a little? Yeah.
Yes.
Click on it, give edit. Yeah. Now here, go to the end, like after open SSH, go to the end.
You want me to edit this?
No,
right?
not that one. So you can just add it directly. So there's a new button, right? Click on it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Now, since you already created your Java home, you can just point the same variable here. So just give percentage Java underscore home percentage. The same slash which you have there, that's backslash.
Okay.
And bin, bin. Yes, give OK. Yes, here also give OK, and only then it will be getting saved.
Only one path is enough here.
Yeah,
right?
Java
Just
home path is fine because you are using only JDK tools, right? So that should be fine.
Okay.
Give OK and give OK. Now open your command prompt.
Okay.
No, not from here. You can open it separately as well.
Separately also.
You don't need to open it only directly from JRE. You can close this and just open the command prompt from your
Okay.
taskbar. Yeah. Now give Java space hyphen version. So you have 1.8
Yeah,
installed in
1.8.
the system, right?
Yes.
Now create the
Okay.
directory structure and just create
Okay.
one file as welcome.java and keep it ready.
Directory structure, like I can save it anyway, right? Like as per
Yeah, in
my
your
convenience.
local
Just
space, you can save it anyway.
sample flow.
So once
Okay.
I come into that Git part, how to save your source code and push your changes, I'll let you know how to do
Changes.
that in another week time. So post that,
Okay.
we should be good enough to push all the changes on the daily basis or weekly basis. For your reference, you can have it there as well.
GitHub. Okay. Okay. And the reason for setting this path variable is this thing is like our system should understand like we have placed the Java and from where it needs to be executed, right?
Yeah,
Is
so
that the
basically
reason?
why we do is like if you're having multiple versions of JDK installed, and if
Okay.
your program is supporting only 1.8 at not 1.11, then there might be a
Okay.
problem. So there you might end with a conflict. So it's always better to
Okay.
have Java Home configured. So in future, if you are dependent to execute only 11 related files, then you can just come into this particular environmental variable and update the path to JDK 11. That's it.
11. Okay.
So that it will be handy. So configurable one. So that is the reason we always set up in environmental variables.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So just
Okay.
create the file
Thanks.
and get it ready. And
Yeah.
so once you're done, you can just follow the instructions as I say now. And
Yeah.
you can
Sure.
start
Sure.
sharing.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Smita.
Okay. Yoga Vashini, are you done with your installation?
It's on the process.
Okay. You let me know if you are having any issues. So I'll just progress with the further steps.
Sure.
Okay. So now we need to just start with the template. You're always, you have to write your class name same as your file name which you have created. If you have a mismatch, it will not execute your program. So now you have to always have your class name defined with a keyword public followed by the keyword class with the file name whichever you have created. And open a curly brace and have one more curly brace which ends. This is the first step you have to do for creating a class structure. So why do we have this public is only if you have your class name as public, your JDK, the main driver class. We say this as a driver class when you have this method called main in your system. So we wherever we see this main method, we say that as your driver class. And this driver has few attributes. So you can say like if you are an Ola driver, then the Ola driver has a relevant ID and he has a relevant uniform. And same way, in a Java class, the driver has few attributes. And those attributes are public, static, void, main. So these are the attributes you have to define for the driver. If you don't have it, then it will not consider as the actual driver or an engine to execute my program. So why do we need to have this static? So as I said yesterday, every object, if you're planning to create an object, you need to create an object structure like, say this is my welcome Java, right? So I need to create welcome Java, say object obj equal to new welcome Java. So I need to first create an object and post that only with that object, I would be able to call my method. I need an object. Without that, I can't tell that this is the feature or this is the functionality of that particular class. So unless I have object, I'll not be able to use that feature. So, and then only I should be able to call this main method. But since JDK, the JVM system expects only this particular driver, so it has mentioned like you don't need to create an object for me. Instead, use a keyword just static. So I would be able to understand that you are using my driver to initiate your program. So that is the reason we never create an object for our driver class. We just have the keyword static in front of our driver name main. And why do we have void? So what is void? So void is nothing but if you have something A plus B. So if you have 2 plus 2, it has to give you an answer as 4. It has to return something, right? So same way, this driver will not return anything, but it will execute all your instructions. So that is why we have this method with a void return type. So this driver will not give you any output, but it will execute all the instructions you have placed within this particular main method. Whatever instructions you place, everything would be executed, but it will not give any explicit output like as you get if you have an add method. So that is why we need to have this this characteristics also defined for your main driver class. So that is the reason we have static and void are the keywords which you use. And this is nothing but a method. So you have return type as void. You have your method name as main, which is nothing but your driver. And you don't have, what is this curly, the parenthesis is, you can accept any input if you want. And the Java system accepts input something called as string array of arguments. Okay. So why it accepts only string array of arguments? Say you're doing a calculation. Every time you won't pass same input 2 and 2, right? You will be passing random values 5 plus 2 or 500 plus 7 or 600 plus 2. Your values get changed often. So how will I understand if your values are getting changed? I need to get that input as a parameter. So your method structure, the method structure would look like your return type, your method name, and it starts with an open brace, and it can accept parameters. There is no condition you can give only one parameter or 2 parameters or 3 parameters. You can have any number of parameters in your method. So if I'm giving an addition method, I can use the return type again, and you can have your variable name there. So if you want to have more than one, you have to separate the variables with your comma operator, and you can give relevant variable names again and close that particular method. So this is the syntax of your method creation. So whenever you want to create, you need to have your return type. I'll tell you what is a return type here. So you need to have a return type, you need to have a relevant name, and you need to have your return type and the relevant variable name followed by any, this particular parameters can be any, it is not restricted to one. You can have 0 parameters or you can have 100 parameters. It's up to you, up to your logic. But this is the structure you need to use. So what is this return type? So if you are doing an addition calculation, you have 2 and 2 as your input, right? So it returns you some output, and that output is again a number. So it is again some numeric value. So in our Java, we have some predefined data types. So what is a data type? Data is nothing but R4 is a data, a number. It can be a value. It can be something like a text, right? It can be anything in any format. It can be just 0 and 1, or it can be true or false, or it can be any lengthy string, something like this. So it can be any format of data. Even you can have decimal values. So any kind of data. But Java has provided us a few data types that it can easily accept and read, and it will be easy for them to use that data types, and you create a memory whenever you're executing this program. And what are those return types? So right now I'll just give you basic return type examples. And going forward, you will get to know what are the data types you have, what are the types of data types you have, and what type of memory you need to store for it, and everything you learn in the next class in detail. Right now, I'll just tell you what are the minimum data types you need to know to create a program. The first one is int, which is of 2 bytes, which can accept numeric values. Okay. And you have something called as float, which can accept decimal values, and which are like restricted to a few precisions, not more than that. So if you are having something like 0.367899990, it can't take that huge value. It will round off or limit that particular precision, and it can't accept more than a specific number of bytes. And the double is one more data type, which is again for decimal format, but here it can accept more than what float accepts. So that is why they introduced this decimal, the double particular data type. You have something called as char, which is just a single character, only A or B or C, only single character it can accept, not more than that. If you go something called as Boolean, it can accept two values, which is true or false. So these are the two values it can accept. So these are the basic data types you need to know as of now. The rest of the data types you will be learning gradually in the next class. So this is the data types you need to use whenever you hear the word as return type. So for example, if I need to create a method right now, I should follow this similar structure, right? So the return type, I'm just writing a reference for add method. So let me write an add method outside this main, okay? Now I have the return type int. My method name is add. I need two inputs. So I'm creating int as a return type and giving one input as A, and going with the second return type, and I'm creating a variable as B, and I'm closing it. So this is the definition. But this is just a definition, right? So if you want to write the logic within it, then you have to open the parenthesis and give a close parenthesis. If you're just creating a definition, like just a structure, then you have to close with a semicolon. So this is nothing but a definition. And if you want, or you can say a declaration. Declaration should be more appropriate. And if you're writing the logic for it, right, you have to open the curly brace and close the curly brace. This is the definition of your method. And whenever you have this return type, which should return you value. So like 2 + 2 is 4, right? You need to give that answer. So what we use is that we use a keyword called return. Okay, which is a keyword. And this return keyword will give you the final logic A plus B. So I'm giving A plus B as my final result set. So this would be the method definition. And this would be the method declaration. So this is the syntax. So return type, method name, followed by number of parameters are up to you as per your logic. But it should have a structure as return type and variable name, return type and variable name. Now coming to our driver, it has same variable, same structure, return type, and it has a variable name. But here you see something called as a square bracket followed by string. So in our Java, whatever you have seen so far, this is nothing but the primitive data types. Okay, so these are primary data types which you need to get aware of. But what is this string, right? So the string is nothing but a class, predefined class provided by Java framework. So since in character you can give only one particular value, basically if you go for a database you have varchar. If you go for JavaScript you have as var. So similar way, if you want to give a huge text, and that can be given in Java only if you're using this particular string class. So this is not a data type, this is a class. So class is nothing but a template is already been created and you're just going to use that template to give your value. So that is why they have capitalized that particular data type. If you see the other data types, they're all starting with a small letter. But this particular one is getting started with capital. So there's one more point you need to keep noted. Whenever you're creating a class, your class name should be starting with a capital followed by small letter, not complete capital. So always your class should start with capital letter. And all your methods, variables should be in lowercase, like in your camel case. So say if you're creating like add method, I need to write add in small, and the relevant verb, like relevant action, what is doing, it should be in the capital. If you're doing like make a call, right? So it should be like make call. If you're saying like send message. So this should be the structure you need to follow whenever you're writing your methods. And whenever you're writing your classes, it should be starting with the capital letter. So this is the best coding practice for you to start with when you're creating a class. Suppose if you have created something in small case, please try to rename with a capital one. So now you understood why this driver class has these three attributes. And now you understood what is this string. And now we'll come to this particular array. So the square bracket is nothing but an array of values, a group of values. So what is array? Array is a collection, right? So if you're giving something like single, like string, it will accept a huge text, right? If you want to give huge text like 100, 200, then you want to define this particular symbol. If you're just giving only one, then you can just have the defined as string args. This should be fine. This will accept only one text, which is nothing but this. But if you want to give string array arguments, then you can give any number of text, but there is no limit. So there is no size limit. You can give any number. If you're giving any number of inputs, then you have to use array. Otherwise, if it's single, you can just go with string. And this is again a reference name. There is no need that you need to always have ARGS. You can give just name as well. So there is no need that you need to follow this particular age, ARGS. But as per the reference materials you have seen so far, or you'll be seeing so far, will always have called as ARGS, nothing but arguments. So it's more appropriate for us to understand. So you can have any name if you're comfortable with, or if you want to go ahead with args, you can go with that. So it's just a reference name for you. Now within this, I want you to write something called system.out.println. And within that, you can give any string. So since I'm writing a welcome Java program, and just trying like welcome Java. That's it. I'm writing it into a string. So what is the system.out.println? So whenever, if you want to see whether your program is running fine, and if you want to see whatever, this is just a basic print statement where you're trying to print welcome Java as a string. And what is this println? Println is a method of these particular system and out. So why do we have dot? We don't use any object here. So whenever you're trying to use a method, or whenever you're trying to use a variable of particular class, right? So if you're creating this object, you have to create that reference, use a dot operator to invoke those methods and properties. So whenever you have iPhone, if you want to use iPhone's backend pixel value, then you have to give something called as iPhone dot backend pixel value. So this is the way you need to access it. Suppose if you want to make a call from iPhone, so iPhone dot make a call. This is the method you have to use if you're invoking the relevant object properties. But if here, so here you can see there is no object created for it. It's direct. It's like you're using dot, 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 and you're using some keywords by. Why is it so? Because all these methods are static methods, and that is the reason they are directly called by the class names without any object created here. So since they are static methods, you just need to understand they are static methods. So for static methods, you don't need to create object. So they can be called with the class name. So for that, static methods will be called with syntax class name dot method name. Okay. Whereas in your object, you have to create class object equal to new class, and you have to use this object, and then only you can invoke the relevant method name. So this is the difference between the static and non-static invocation of methods and variables. So far, any doubts? So you understood what is a driver, what are the attributes of the characteristics of the driver, and what a driver can accept as a structure. So this is the structure you need to follow whenever you're writing a basic Java program. And within that, right now, we just used a print statement to print your text. And I just made you to understand what is the structure of your method, how does it look like, and what are the relevant return types followed by. So any questions so far? Any questions, or we are good to go ahead?
We will go now, proceed with small program.
Okay, so now you guys just need to just create public class and welcome Java, followed by this line public static void main. Just have a print statement, whatever print statement you wanted to print, and then close that method, and then close the class. Once you're done with this, let me know, and someone share the screen, post this. Like whoever done with it, can you share your screen? Chaitanya, Kirba, whoever is done. They can share your screen. Okay, so within the main, can you just type system S caps dot out, no, dot out dot println. Yeah, within that, type some text message and close it semicolon. And in your main method, you need to have string array with a reference name. S caps for string.
Should come after main.
Yeah, after main, open parenthesis, and no, after main within your bracket. Yeah, string, square bracket, open and close, space, give any reference name you like to have. After that, before closing, just give a reference name.
What should I give? I'll give A.
You can give just ARGS. If you're not comfortable with any other name, go with ARGS, close the bracket. No, after your square bracket closing, you are closing your main bracket as well. Remove that. Yeah. ARGS, close it. Yeah, we are good at now. Yeah. Now, you have one mistake in your class name. Can you correct it?
Starting letter is capital only.
Yeah, but the relevant keywords, whichever you get, right, like Java and whatever you write after welcome, should be again capital.
Okay.
Cool. Now save this file. And can you go to the path where you have this particular file?
Yes.
Okay, just give Java C, welcome Java dot Java, enter. You didn't, what was the error you get is in the system.out.println, you didn't close with semicolon. So always in Java, all the statements will get terminated with semicolon, and all the objects will be invoked with dot operator, and all the variables, if you are grouping it together, should be separated with comma operator. This is something you need to understand. So now execute it again. So what is the error you're getting now? Under class, you're getting the
Class
error.
name, and this is
Yes, because the file name is with small case of Java and your class name is having capital. So can you just correct your file name? Yes. Now try to execute your command again. Yes. So now can you go to the path where you have your this created and you see dot class file open created, right? Can you just open that? Yes. So you can see that it's not an understandable format. You have all your bytecodes represented, which is understandable only by the mission. So right now, whenever you created the program Welcome Java, backend, the JVM instance has been created, and that instance will have this dot class file as its input now. And now your Bootstrap loader will come into picture, will load your dot class file, and will keep it execute, create the memory for all the logic whichever you have written in your piece of code. And now you are ready to run that program. Now go and give the command Java space welcome Java. And you should be able to see your printed statement.
okay.
Right? So this is a basic program, but right now you understood a minimum inputs of how your class has to be, what are the structure you need to follow, right? Are we good till now? Anyone facing any issues?
Snehal, like we need to save it as .text or .java actually.
Dot Java. All your Java files should be extended with dot Java, not as dot text.
Okay, but couldn't find any like in the save as type, right? So I couldn't find as
Can you share your
.java.
screen?
Yeah, sure. Just 1 minute.
And Kiruba, Yogavashni, are we good with that so far, or you are in progress work?
Yeah, so I got
Actually,
the output.
You have a doubt?
No, I got the output.
You got the output. Okay. And yoga?
Yeah, fine for me.
I was having trouble setting up the Java to
Okay. What's the trouble?
yeah. So it's not trouble exactly. It says like there are more settings like uh in about and all. I have to add any path. Should I set it? I mean, you can't understand. Can I share the
Just a
screen?
moment. Janaki is sharing the screen. Post that you can
Sure,
share the screen.
sure, sure.
Can you able to see, like, I'm not able to get the option as .java.
No, you don't need to go there. You can just directly save it as welcome Java. .java.
.java. Here itself.
No. In
I
save
tried
as
that.
type.
Here, right? No, you're asking to go ahead like this,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Like,
exactly. Don't give save as type. In the save as
Oh.
type, just go with all files.
okay.
Okay, now save. And can you go to your path and see? Now you see the type as Java file, right?
Yeah, but when I try to execute right now, I'll just try.
Can you try now? So there's some issue so it's getting compiled and you have an issue on your method.
Issue with the method. Okay. I'll correct
The
that.
method is your println is
Print
having
ln, I
NIN.
will just
It's
type.
just ln.
Yeah, I'll
Just correct it and
Okay.
execute it. Yeah, Yoga Vishnu,
Yeah,
can you
thank
share
you,
your
thank
screen? So meanwhile, whoever completed, I request you to create some method outside your main method with the relevant return type or without return type. If you're using without return type, use the keyword void. If you want to have a key return type, just create a method with return type. You can create any method in your class. And once you're done, let me know. And your question, you can share your screen.
So is there any thing I have to change, or should I click on OK to go for next steps? Should I change in the network settings
No,
or settings?
where are you actually, like where this is getting popped out?
I just downloaded it
Can you go to
from
the,
here.
can you close this? Yeah. Can you go open to the exe file which you downloaded?
Sure.
So once the others have completed creating method, please let me know. So you can get any random method. Okay, where is your downloaded exe?
Give me a minute. It's not actually my laptop, so it's taking.
Sneha, can you
Whenever I've
repeat
done.
the question? Like, you want to create the method outside the
Create the method outside your main body, like not within
Main
the
body.
main body, outside
main body?
But that should be
Okay,
within your
got
class. So the final
Class.
basis is there, right? Before that, try to create one method.
Okay, fine.
Yoga Vishnu, you downloaded
So-
JRE and not JDK.
Okay. So like I have to.
You have to download JDK if you start driving development. So yesterday I shared you the link, right?
No, I was, I was kicked out of the room. I was forced logged out by Zoom. I
Okay,
don't
just
have
a moment. Let
proper
me
internet
share you the
connection.
link
Yeah,
right away.
sure, sure.
In this, can you just go ahead and download JDK version? I pinned in the chat. And once others have created a method, can someone share the screen? Meanwhile, Yoga Vishnu, you can continue with the installation.
Okay, so I'll just stop sharing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chaitanya or Kirba, Janaki, whoever has done with the method creation, please share the screen.
Sneha, so I should download the, like, I have Windows, so I have to download the respective file, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So others, have you created your methods?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you share your screen, Kirba?
So maybe Kripa
Okay.
can share this time.
Can you see it now?
Yeah. So can you open your Java file?
Yeah.
Okay. So you created. Okay. So outside you created print hello, and you also created the object. Great. So okay, great. And you're trying to access it. Okay. Cool. Okay,
Just
fine.
printing an hello from.
Yes. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now can you execute it?
Okay. So I already compiled it.
Yeah. Okay. Then you can just give Java file. Yeah. So hello from outside main is got executed. So now you got an idea of how to create your method and how to access it, because we are using the object, because that doesn't have any static. So can you create one more method with static keyword as a prefix?
Hello. Sorry, I lost you.
Sorry. Yeah. You can go to the welcome. You there, Kriba?
Yeah, I'm there, but I think
I
some
lost your
network issue.
screen. Maybe you can reshare.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now can you go to that file again? Welcome Java. Edit it. Yes. Now create one more method. Void. Same. You can go with void, but use the keyword static before void this time. Create one more method. Just static. Void and give some name, relevant name which you like to have. Print static,
So
or give print.
okay,
Static.
again.
Yeah, just give print static. Yeah, and within that, can you just give one more system.out.println with some relevant text? Yes. And this particular method is within this particular class, and that is also named as with static keyword. So you can give, there are two ways for you to access. Directly, you can just give print static after your object.print hello, and let's execute that. Just give print stat. No need to create object. You don't need object. For static, you don't need object.
Okay. Yeah.
So you just give print static and then semicolon. Save it. Okay. Now try to compile it. And execute it. Yes. So since your static method is within the same class, you don't need to call it with class name dot print static. If you have that static method in some other class, then you need to have invoked it with the relevant class name dot method name. But since we have it within our class welcome Java, you can just call the method name directly when you're invoking in your driver class.
Okay.
Okay. So far, any doubts in this? Others are able to understand, or any queries?
So that means like object, no need to create the object itself for this class actually.
Yeah, if your method is static, you don't need to create an object to call that method. But if you have some other methods which are not static, you need to have your object created to use them.
Okay. Yeah,
Now,
only for static.
Kiruba, we can go ahead with one more exercise. Now, instead of creating method, can you create a variable outside your main? Just give
in the class, right?
Yeah, within the class, int, just a name equal to 10. Okay. Now create one more variable with static. Okay. Static int x equal to 10.
Okay.
So you can give some number 100 so that you'll know what output you're getting, right? Give some output, save it. Now in your main method, write system.out.println after print static. and now I wanted to get the A value printed. No, don't write
Okay.
double quotes. Don't write double quotes. Right. Now I wanted to access the variable A, and right now it is not static. So how do I need to call that variable?
Object reference dot
Yes.
variable.
Yes, right. And how should I call the static variable X? Write again system.out.println in your next line and call me the static variable there.
Sorry, it's 6. Yeah.
So for that, you don't
Only-
need the object.
Object,
Now
yeah.
save it and compile and execute.
Nothing wrong in using the object reference right here as well.
Yeah, we'll do that also. But right now, just give X. That should be fine.
Okay.
Compile it.
Running it.
Okay, so now you got your output. So as per your request, we'll try to access it with an object. So it is not an issue, but unnecessarily we are invoking an object call there. That's it.
Mhm.
So you can
Okay.
write one more system.out.println and you can invoke it with your object. So others also please follow the same steps and try to execute it. And if you're having any queries, you let me know. And within that, with object.x. And in the same way, you can also use object.print static. In the next line, just
Okay.
give object.print static. No, just no need of system.out.print. Anyway, in the method, you have your println, right? So just give object.print
Okay. Okay.
static. Since we need to view our results, I'm just printing it every time. Yes, save it and execute it. You
Have to
didn't execute it.
compile. Ah,
Right, and go ahead. Yes. So now you will be still able to access your static variables with your reference, but that is not required as per Java's architecture. So it is an unnecessary reference creation by our side. So it's always better, like if you're going with a static, you can directly call them without any references, object references. But even if you call it object, it will be calling. But when you implement later point of time, the coding standards or coding tools, secure coding tools like Sonar or something, when you build it in your system, it will give you code smells. The code smell is nothing but it will unwantedly you have used an object reference for a static method, which is not required. So it will give you that kind of warnings when you try to invoke a static method. So you can still get your output, but it's not a best practice to go ahead.
mhm. Yeah. Fine.
Can you open the code once, Kripa?
Yeah, Kirba, you can share your screen till others get an idea on it.
And why are we giving the last line object.print
So that is a
static?
static method. Earlier, he invoked the static method without an object reference. Right now, he has invoked with object reference of the static method. So will the compilation fail or not was the check we did.
Okay.
And what happened if we call that static method with the object actually?
It won't
Compilation
throw you
doesn't
any
fail, but
error.
what?
It will execute and it will give the result set. But it is just like, it's kind of an additional information you're passing to invoke it. As per the structure defined by your JVM, for static, you don't need to give any object references to invoke them, right? In your class loading part, when you're doing your loading, linking, and verifying step, when it comes to verifying, if that particular method is static, it would have executed already. Your result set would be on top. But if you haven't used that, if you are using your reference and invoking it, then it comes after your execution engine comes into the picture. Till then, it will not execute your program. So if you go with static, it is accessible and you don't need an object. So unnecessarily heap memory will not be created. If you use object, your heap memory will be created. That is the reason to avoid the heap memory and to keep it accessible anytime without any object references, we prefer to go with the methods as static. So though you keep your object reference and invoke your static methods, there won't be any issue, but it's not a best practice to follow. That's it.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah. So are we good with this till now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I can stop
Yeah,
sharing
you
my screen,
can
right?
stop sharing. Okay, so I just wanted to ask randomly, like anyone has ever saw the icon of the Java which you installed? Did you notice the icon?
Yeah, coffee symbol.
Yes. Did you get an idea to investigate why you have that? Or any ideas behind it, why we have coffee symbol there?
No.
Okay. So it's an interesting story. Maybe you guys can also have a read on it, but I can just give you a insight of that. Why do we have coffee is the person who designed it is James Gosling, and this has been designed in Indonesia, and where the coffee beans are much famous for it. And since the oak tree and coffee beans are famous for that, they actually, when they invented this particular design framework of Java, they kept the aroma of that coffee beans, the smell, and the coffee cup as the icon or the logo of this particular Java. And that has been still following, and there was no change happened later for that icon. So that is the story behind the Java logo. Okay. So I just wanted to distract you from the actual class, so that's why I bought it. And anyway, so now, till now, any questions on the JVM architecture or the execution of your program, a sample program, or anything you have any queries?
So far, no.
Okay. So next,
Maybe
so
we can give some homework, like to write some scripts so we can practice.
yeah, we haven't learned much into that to practice, but I can suggest you to read any articles or anything related to JVM architecture and see how behind the memory works. And you can actually explore something called as a library Java P, which is available in your JDK bin. Okay, so that is the one which actually disassembles your bytecodes. Okay, and it can give you, like, in the bytecode, what is the variable, what is the static method, what are the relevant objects you have created. Since you have created today one object and you have used static methods and static variables, I wanted you to explore the Java P and try to execute that in your command prompt and see how exactly the bytecode class looks like and how that is getting segregated. Like, I wanted to use that particular. So it's similar to your command Java C. Instead of Java C, you'll be typing Java P and filename.java. And you can use help kind of what is a help attribute, post that as suffix to get the other keys which you can append as a part of your command. And just have a look on how the Java P works and get an understanding of Java P, and try to look into the libraries which are present in your bin folder. So there are multiple things like JConsole, Java W, rt.jar. So just have a look on those things and see what are the libraries we have as part of our JDK. That's it. And just recollect and revisit the entire 3 sessions class. And from Monday, we'll be having more of a hands-on sessions than the theoretical part. So we'll be stepping into a more of hands-on.
Do we have class today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow?
No, we have again on Monday.
Oh, only weekdays. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, only weekdays. So any questions or any feedback or suggestions? Or we can wrap it for the day.
We can close for the day. For me, it's fine.
And that Java icon story was good. So please bring in new story for each day.
Yes, sure. And you guys can also share something if you have anything interesting in your technology which you work on, you can share it. So we can all learn together. And yeah, so we'll have a short quiz for hardly for 2 to 3 minutes. Once you log in, I'll be sharing your Google form. You guys need to complete it and submit it. And that is, so basically every week you'll be followed up with that, where you need to have that installed. And also before coming to next class, I would like you to guys install something called as git bash try to go into Google and just search for git bash and just get installed in your, just install that installer file, exe file or a tar file, get it installed and keep it handy. And we'll be start doing more programs from Monday and understanding the OOPS concepts in detail. That's it. So
Okay.
yeah. So if you don't have any questions, then we can wrap it up.
Okay then.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Yoga
wait.
Vashni, please do install JDK. And if you have any issues, you can let me know. And
Yeah.
Kiruba, like you can share that file, the .java file in this chat so that she can use it. Whoever didn't complete can use that file as a reference and try to complete it by next class. So you get an idea on the concept, whatever we have learned today.
Sure.
Okay, then have a happy weekend. Let's connect on Monday.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Sneha. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneha.
Thank you. Happy weekend.